Now, our next speaker is in many ways a follow-up to the awesome presentation you just heard from Dean Kosegi and Jonathan Budd. It's really a continuation because what JB and Dean did was a lot of the theory behind the gamified concept. What this next speaker is going to do is some of the more how-to practical stuff about how to use mobile apps to not just gamify your business, but really what we care about most is generate leads and traffic for our business using apps. This is the first of basically one of a kind presentation that's ever been done at the No Excuses Summit. Get your notepads ready, take lots of notes. This person is also an extremely, extremely successful internet marketer, one of the most badass affiliate marketers to ever be in this arena. He's been responsible for over $100 million in affiliate sales for his partners. And he's recently sold an actual app company. He developed a mobile app company for just under $2 million. So very, very successful. And so if that $2 million seems a bit big to you, then and we're just in the beginning stages of this arena. So please welcome our buddy, our friend, and badass marketer, Mr. Amish Shah.
How's everyone doing? Good? All right, good. I got some really good stuff for you. First, who has built an app here before? One person? Two? Three maybe? Four? Okay. So I'll admit, actually, I was a little nervous speaking on stage here because we have like a big difference, you know? Hold on one second. What's the difference between me and you? I'm an internet marketer and a mobile marketer, and I'm on stage in front of a huge audience of network marketers, right? Somehow, we're separated, and we think we're different, right? We use the same tactics, but somehow we think we're different. And that's completely, completely, completely wrong. Because the truth still remains that we use this very same tools to generate leads and get sales, right? Think about it. There's PPC, there's SEO, social media, media buys, squeeze pages, training videos, sales videos, webinars, autoresponders, websites, blogs. We all use the same exact tools and tactics. It's just we're in different industries. So all of those things that I just mentioned, all of those, every single one that I just mentioned, gets you one huge thing. What is that? Leads, okay. What else? Traffic. Traffic. It's the lifeblood of all of our businesses. Without traffic, your business doesn't exist. It's just law. You need traffic. So at the end of the day, it really just all leads back to traffic. It's really the most important thing for all of your businesses, traffic. I realized that a long time ago when I was younger that I needed to actually focus on traffic. Forget everything else. Traffic. If you can get the traffic, you can do anything with it, right? It's all pretty simple to me. Just having this one thing we call traffic in common between us affirms to me that we're nothing but the same. And we just need to help each other become smarter and better people and have better businesses. And that's all it takes, because this is what we need to share. This community, this group, me sharing the information, all the other speakers, it's all about that. It's about the connection that you build and how we can teach each other to become better people, better business people, everything. So, if I can help you generate 90,000 more leads in your business per month, would you be interested?
Yes.
If I can help you generate an extra 500 to 150,000 in passive income per month, would you be interested? And what if I told you you can do all that with mobile apps? And you never have to build a website again. or a squeeze page. This is something like Jonathan and Dean were saying. This is massive. This is enormous right now. We're sitting in the middle of a tidal wave of mobile heading our way. So right now is the time for you to get involved. See, I'm going to show you exactly how you can build your app or apps for any subject you want, and how to have your app in the iTunes and Android store, or any other store, Windows store if you want, in 10 days. And it's already going to be generating revenue the day it comes out. I'm going to show you my exact formula of how I got started, how I sold my company, and how I'm involved in a way bigger picture now. All mobile apps. But first, you're probably asking, who is this guy? Like, who am I? I'm just some dude on stage, right? A lot of you probably have never heard of me. I'm kind of in the internet marketing world more than the network marketing world. But we're both marketers. We're all marketers. So I'm kind of old school. I've been marketing online since 1995, since I was 15. I'm 32 right now. And I might look different because I shaved my head a couple of days ago. So I've been marketing online since 1995, seriously. And I was young, and I just had a computer with a modem, and I'd put up all kind of affiliate advertisements, and I would make money off of it. Not much, maybe like $1,000, maybe $2,000 a month. It was pretty good for being 15. I'd take the money. My parents didn't know either. I used to, because I didn't want to tell them. I was making more money than they were, so. So I took the money, and I used to go to the grocery store and cash the checks and walk around with like wads of cash and like buy people lunch at school and stuff. It was pretty cool. And so after I made my, I started generating, doing affiliate campaigns and things like that. In the last 8 years marketing, I've generated about $22 million for my business. And I've helped generate over $100 million in sales for clients and affiliate companies. Here's some launches that I've done. I've had some pretty good successes with product launches. I'm sure you guys are pretty familiar with that stuff. In 2009, I had what we called the Magic Bullet seminar. I don't know if you guys, who's heard of the Magic Bullet system? Okay, so a decent amount of you. We had our first seminar, and it brought in $800,000. In 2010, we brought in $5.1 million, $4 million of which were brought in 24 hours. And that was the first one. The second one brought in 3.3, and we used the same exact funnel, same exact videos, everything. And then in 2012, I just released a product called the App Code, which is basically teaching people how to create apps. And then within 6 months, or less than 6 months, 5 months, brought in around $1.5 million. So I've had some pretty decent launches. And so the big question is, guess how much traffic I controlled to create all those sales? I actually had to drive traffic to make that happen. Over 105 billion impressions over the last 8 years. And I've helped drive that to squeeze pages, landing pages, all that good stuff. And so, over the last 4 years, I noticed an interesting trend. And the first time I saw this, I was at AdTech. It's like a big advertising conference. And about 3 to 4 years ago is when everyone started going online, like everybody. And I started looking around at all the booths, and I realized they all do the same thing. This market is just going to go to shit real soon. Sorry, am I allowed to curse? Yeah. And I'm sure you've noticed it too. It's just getting more difficult. Online marketing is getting more difficult. There's more information on the web. People can Google stuff. Because of all the sales and scammy products that are out there, it's making it harder for us to make a living online because of everything else out there and all the abundance of information. No one needs to buy your product anymore. They can figure it out just by Googling, right? Now it's about that connection that you have with your customers. And that's why I sold my multi-million-dollar online marketing and advertising company last year. And this wasn't no ordinary company. My company was generating over $5 million per year and was listed in the Inc. 500 as the 60th fastest growing marketing company in 2010 and 75 in 2011. And this is in the US. And I sold it last year. And the reason why I sold it is because I saw a shift happening towards mobile. And it's really big. It's big. I'm going to show you some really cool stats. And I knew that the future was literally in the palm of my hands. I just went to India a couple of weeks ago to a super remote area. Like, I had to take it was a 35-hour journey from door to door. 3 planes, 2 cars, you name it, the whole deal. And I was going to basically uncover a lost civilization. I'm weird like that. I like doing weird, crazy trips like that. And so I didn't realize it, but I was here in this remote village, and I was walking around, and I got lost. Pulled out my iPhone, turned on maps, and there I was. I knew exactly where I was. I took a picture of the sunset, and I was listening to music all at the same time. Your whole life is in your hands. And that's where everything is going. Because now more than ever, everything is becoming mobile. And I'm sure you guys are seeing it. I'm sure you guys are noticing this. Just like Jonathan and Dean said, everything is becoming mobile. Computers will probably be outdated in the next 15 years, without a doubt. So think about it, right? How many devices did you bring with you to just this event? Let me see a show of hands. Who has a smartphone? All right? Who brought a tablet with them also? Laptop? All 3? There you go. More than 3? There you go. I have a couple people who have more than 3 mobile devices with them. Don't you find that a little bizarre? That 5 years ago, maybe half the room would maybe less than half the room would raise their hand? This is something massive, beyond massive. It's a tidal wave, and that's the analogy I use all the time. It's a freaking tidal wave. So where do you think your leads are hanging out? On a freaking mobile device. That's exactly where they're hanging out. All of them. You just saw everyone around you. Where do you think they're hanging out? So the number of smartphones last year, here's a very important fact. The number of smartphones, and I have a little doohickey here, right here, outsold PCs last year. Outsold PCs. Not by a little, by a lot. Tablets alone should outsell PCs in the next 2 or 3 years, and you can see it. This is what's happening right now. It's happening. We're in the midst of it right now. Wake up. Seriously, wake up. The future is right in front of us, and we know it. So what are you going to do about it? You've got to do something about it. We are in the midst of a mobile revolution, literally a mobile revolution. That's exactly what's happening right now. Everything is becoming appified and mobilified, if that's a word. So where do you think, oh, did I just do this already? Okay. So where do you think the traffic is going to go? It's already in the palm of your hands. Really is already in the palm of your hands. Right? In a few years, the number of mobile devices will dwarf the number of PCs. Look at this chart here and look at where we are and look at the growth. On the side over here is billions. It's billions. And you see this tidal wave coming? Who sees the tidal wave coming? It's coming. And unless you act now, you're going to be fighting just like we are for the internet nowadays. Luckily for us, it's still the beginning, right? We still have about, like Jonathan was saying, about 7 years before this whole thing kind of just starts plateauing a little bit. Right now it's just hockey stick. It's going straight up and to the right. There are still more dumb phones than smartphones. So dumb phones are the phones that don't have any, capability, flip phones, things like that. You can see the difference of how many phones are out there, smartphones versus non-smartphones. We call them dumb phones. And the conversion is starting to happen right now. Like I said before, now is the time. And I put the little thing that says, we are here. We're still early in the stages. Something big is coming. So what's going to power all these smartphones? What's going to power all these smartphones? Lithium. It's going to be apps. Everything is going to be apps. It's going to be completely appified. Angry Birds alone has 600 million downloads, beating Nintendo DS, including all their games. Every single game that Nintendo DS, every single console, everything they've ever sold, Angry Birds beat it by a lot. Apps are now a $10 billion a year market, growing at 100% per year. Think about that. It's doubling every single year. This is the new wave, and this is the new world of technology, and we have to adapt. We have to adapt. If there's one thing I'm good at, is seeing into the future and being a visionary for creating something for the future. When I created the Magic Bullet system, I saw a huge need to basically take all those research tools and building tools and squeeze page tools and blogs and all that stuff, tracking, put it all into one tool. Instagram sold for $1 billion recently. $1 billion? Crazy. OMG Pop sold for $180 million. Rovio is worth $2.25 billion. And Zynga generates $1.1 billion a year. And all these companies started in the last 5 years. Every single one of them. And these are some really big pie in the sky kind of stuff, but there's tons and tons and tons of app millionaires. Tons of them, all over the place. All over the place. So, my company Bitsio that I started about a year ago. We didn't actually take action like growing it really that big because I was in the process of selling my other company and getting things together. Started about a year ago, and we posted $600,000 in Q4 of last year. That was our earnings. We're projected to do over $12 million this year, and we're valued at $24 million. And you can look it up. It's completely public. We're a public company. You can go look it up on Yahoo, put in the stock ticker symbol, and you can check it out. We're valued at $24 million. This is not bullshit. It's real. It's stuff you can look at. And I started this less than a year ago. Think about that for a second. Less than a year ago. Bitsio now has over 100 million downloads across our whole entire network. We've had our apps installed on 100 million, well, I can't say that, 100 million downloads. I don't know how many devices exactly, but 100 million downloads. And we have over 500 apps in the marketplace. You can search for them in the iTunes store or the Android stores, Purple Penguin, Free the Apps, and Bitsio. Those are our 3 different kind of companies within the main company. So what's our goal? To build a $1 billion company, just like everyone else. Why not? I'm thinking big, I'm going to dream big, and I'm going to freaking do it. I've had success, I want to do something massive this time. So, if mobile apps are the way to the future, then where do we even start, right? Well, I started by creating very simple apps. I'm going to teach you guys exactly how to do it. Apps that I made myself with no programming experience. I'm not a programmer. I didn't know anything about apps when I got into it. I had no mobile marketing experience, and I didn't spend a dime making them. I'm going to teach you guys how to make free apps. And these apps literally bring in residual income for me and leads for me on autopilot. We get 90,000 new leads a month in various niches. 90,000. Think about that. One thing I like about network marketing, and I don't know much about it, I'll be completely honest, but I do know that it brings you residual income, and that's what I like about it. And I like residual income, I like passive income, and that's exactly what apps do. It's exactly what apps do. So, here's an interesting fact. I have apps from 2010, when I first started tinkering around with apps and building my first app ever, still making me $500 a month without paying much attention to them. I really rarely ever pay attention to them. I'm not trying to make this seem like, it's like the next big thing or anything like that. It is, actually. But, this goes to show how crazy the app market is. And I'm going to teach you something very unconventional. My secret formula. Cristal is my secret formula, by the way. It's really kind of like my big secret, and I've only shared it with probably a couple of people like Dean and Jonathan and Jim and a bunch of other people in the room, only my San Diego crew and my company as well. And so my secret formula can be used over and over and over again. It can be used in your personal life. It can be used in business. It can be used for anything. And there's 5 steps to it. 1, research. 2, build. 3, monetize. 4, track. And 5, optimize. Those 5 things are all you need in life to make yourself a better person and to make your business blow up. And this is the exact sequence you do it in, and I'm going to show you exactly how to follow it. And I've used this over and over and over for all my businesses and for my personal life. The secret formula isn't for everybody. And there will be a lot of people who are resistant to adapt to this type of thinking. It takes a little shift, right? There will be people who won't make that shift in their businesses and in their mindset, and they won't do anything with this formula at all. And that's cool. No problem with that. And then there are those who will take the content I'm teaching today and make some serious cash with it. I haven't actually taught this content to anyone. This is the first time I'm actually on stage talking about apps. I've talked about it in front of my audience, and I do seminars and stuff with my group, but I've never actually talked about it in a different group. So I've really never taught this to anyone. Not on any webinar, not on any stage, nothing. This was created specifically for you because I want to help you. This isn't some presentation I do like every week at some freaking event. Like, I don't do that. I rarely speak on stages, and I was invited to speak here. I said, why not? You may think that making apps is probably hard, right? Costs a lot of money. It's a flooded market, and it requires programming. And the fact is, making an app is easy. In fact, if you have a computer and a smartphone or a tablet, then you can make an app. Our app network generates over $150,000 per month in app revenue. We get over 3 million new installs per month. We have 90,000 leads per month and growing. We have over between 100 and 110 million installs and over 40 million impressions a month across our whole ad network. What would you do with 40 million impressions? Another really cool fact that I didn't have in my slides, and I thought about it before, was that every single day we have 1.2 million active users. 1.2 million active users. So this is the future. I'm completely kind of phasing my whole life out of internet and online marketing completely to mobile. I'm in the process of doing that right now. And this is where my secret formula starts. Step 1, research. When I first started making apps, my only research tools were iTunes or the Android store, topappcharts.com, and the Google keyword tool. And you still only need these 3 things to build an app. Step 1, make a wish. What market do you want to target? Who do you want to target? It could be on any subject. Really, anything that you can think of, just make a wish, make a list. That's it. Think of keywords. This is the key. Think of keywords that you want to be ranked for on Google for your market and write those down. What do you want to build an app on? So, for example, it could be network marketing. You want to build an app on network marketing. Your main keyword is network marketing. You want to build an app on apples. What's your main keyword? Apples. You get the gist. Think of keywords. Step 2, I use meditation as an example here. Call it covert ops. Go to the iTunes or the Android store and search for those terms that you made a list about. Right? Now you can see, I searched for it. Let me see if I can pull this out here. You can see that I searched for meditation, and I clicked on apps in the iTunes store. And look at the first 2 results. Who notices something there? Look at the other apps, and then look at this. Look at the first 2. I'm gonna explain exactly what it is in just a second. Another good thing about the iTunes store is when you search, check for plurals, because they think of them as differently. Canoe versus canoes. Canoe has like 50 apps. Canoes has 6. Think about what you can do with your market. Apple, apples. Meditation, meditate. Different ways of putting the term. All right? Then we have step 3, the high-level analysis. This is what Top App Charts does. Find the competitors in the marketplace and see their rankings. Again, I search for meditation here. Oh, 1 second. Okay. And what Top App Charts does, it allows you to look at your competition. It shows you how these are being ranked. So you can actually see the search term, and you can see their chart, you can see how many downloads they're getting, you can see where they're ranked. This is highly intelligent data. So then, you can actually see some of your competitors' apps. You could download them, check them out, see where they're ranked, see what they're doing wrong, why they're not ranking. Then we have the Google Keyword Tool. You guys are all familiar with the Google Keyword Tool? Okay. If you're not, go to Google and type in Google Keyword Tool. So step 3 is called the customer grab. Oh, sorry, step 4. And this is where the Google Keyword Tool comes in. You can see the different things that I've put in here. Again, I use meditation as the example. Just enter your keyword there. Looks like some of it's cut off. What you can see over here is that you can see your app name. These words here that are under the keyword, after you sort, I can't see this. Okay, I'm not going to use it. After you sort by global searches, and you get highest to lowest, those keywords are going to be your app name. You're not going to be like, this is the best network marketing app ever. Nothing like that. I'm going to teach you how to get leads. I'm not teaching you how to go viral. Not yet, at least. So think about this. You see, the App Store is nothing, the app stores are nothing but search engines. They are the new search engines of our world. And what do you do with new search engines? You create as much as you can to get out there in the early stages so that you build a long-term business. Right or wrong? When the internet came out, what did we all start doing? Building pages. Who was around back in the day when you just put up those automated websites and make money on AdSense? That was back in the day. App Store is a little bit different, but it's the same concept. Your keywords. People type in all kinds of stuff. You should see some of the apps I have. You should really see some of the apps I have and the names I have for them. Las Vegas City Guide, Lyme disease, things like that. All over the map. I'm all over the map. And apps are nothing but keywords. This is the most crucial thing you guys have to understand. If you want leads, apps are nothing but keywords. And I'm going to show you how to take all these leads and drive them to your main app. And I'm going to talk about that in just a second. Step 5 is formation. You list your apps from the most searched in Google with the least competitors in iTunes. And that's how you're going to go and build your apps. You have your whole list. You know exactly what the market's doing. You know which ones to do first. Right? Got that? Don't got it? Okay. You're going to go to the Google Keyword Tool. You're going to type in whatever market you want to get in, right? First, you make a list. Put them into the Google Keyword Tool. Figure out how much traffic those keywords are getting, and then take those keywords and make your new list. After you take that, plug it into top app charts, and figure out if there's any competitors. Put it into iTunes, see if there's any competitors. That's it. And then sort. Pretty simple. Now you know which apps to go after first. It's pretty simple. Then we get to step 2, where you start building your apps. Now the real work begins. Not really, but the real work begins. Once I had my ideas, and I thought of a bunch of ideas on which apps I wanted to go and make, I was ready to go out and start building my apps and start my app empire, my app, whatever I wanted. I want to build this massive empire of apps. So what I did was, I went out to Odesk and Elance, and there was one big issue. It cost around $500 to $3,000 per app, per device to build if you get it outsourced. It's pretty expensive. When I realized that I have to spend a couple $1,000, this is pretty much what I said. And I didn't want to spend that much. I had way too many ideas, and I didn't want to test the app market, not knowing what I was going to get out of it. So I was determined to find a way to make apps and make them free. And I'm going to show you exactly how I did that. Instead of spending so much money on building apps, I found a couple tools online that you can build your apps for free. So who wants to learn how to build any app you want for free? Well, here's the app builder list. And there's a couple of them. And I suggest you play around with all of them and figure out which one you like the best, because they all have different features and they all do different things. But if you know how to use a computer and a mouse, you're pretty good. You should be all right. There's appmaker.com. everyoneapps.com. ibuildapp.com. sencha.com. And of course, you can get it outsourced if you want on Odesk or Elance. But that's not free. The first 4 are completely free. You can check them out. And you go there, you can start building your app. You probably have it done in about a half an hour. So who has a blog here? Okay. Facebook, Twitter, videos, YouTube, audios, articles, PDFs, opt-in form. Wait, sorry. Those can all go inside of these apps that you build for free. Every single thing that I just mentioned. All your articles, all your blog posts, all your videos, all your everything. Everything you can think of, you can put inside your app. And here's another thing you can do with not all the app makers have this, but I think AppMaker does and one other one does. I'm not sure, I forgot which one. Who knows what push notifications are? You know when you get those little messages that say, John sent you a message on Facebook, you click view and it opens Facebook? I can send those messages as many times as I want to my 110 million customers. On the fly. Push of a button. That's the new email. That's really where we're moving towards. This is where we're moving towards. So if I can push notify anyone that downloads my apps at any time and show them any offer I want, because when you click view and it opens up that app, I can control what page they go to. I can send them anywhere. Have an offer coming out? Send them to your offer. Have something else? Send them somewhere else. Want to collect their email address? And give them a prize? Do that. Anything. Sky's the limit. These can all go inside of your apps with the systems that I just mentioned. Every single thing. Remember when Jonathan said apps are nothing but websites? It's true. That's why keywords are important. And that's why you can integrate all your stuff that's on the web into an app now. Everything is becoming appified. There was an article in Wired magazine a year and a half ago. On the cover, it said the web is dead. That's exactly what it said. Guess what the article was about? Apps. The only thing most of your life, you actually use apps for everything. Microsoft Word is an app. PowerPoint is an app. Skype is an app. The only thing you use the web for is Facebook, Google, and the other browsing and stuff like that, buying stuff. And that's all becoming app now. Then we have the third step, monetization. Who's liking this, by the way, so far? Yeah? I see I only have 9 minutes, so I might have to go a little quick. After I built my first app, I submitted it to iTunes, and it went live 8 days later. I started making $6 per day the day it hit the App Store. I was rich, right? Not quite. I realized that I wasn't monetizing my apps properly. $6 a day is not going to do anything. Maybe buy some snacks or one small coffee at Starbucks or something like that. These are just a couple ways to monetize your apps, and I'm going to explain each one, so don't worry, don't get freaked out if I go to the next slide. Banner ads, paid apps, in-app purchases, nag screens, more screens. These are the crucial elemental pieces you should have in all of your apps. Oh, and push notifications, sorry. I'm going to go through I'm going through each one separately. Banner ads. You can put the little banners inside your app. You can make money off advertising revenue. There's a couple different companies that do that. AdMob, MobClicks, iAds, Millennial Media. There's a bunch more too, but these are kind of the good ones. Then we have paid apps. So some of my apps, remember when I said I was making $6 a day and I thought I was cool? I turned that thing into a paid app. It was making me $20 a day. And I was charging $1.99 for it, and I was making $20 a day. Pretty good. So you got to test that. You can test free versus paid and see which one makes you more money. If your goal is to get leads, suggest making them free. People will download, and download all day long. In-app purchases, Dean and John talked about this as well. It's like buying those virtual goods, coins, tokens, things like that. We have this inside of our apps. We have one app called Jersey Booth. Makes you look like a Guido. And so you can buy beards and you can buy like chains, big chains, and you can put like a six-pack on you and stuff, and these are all 99-cent upgrades. And people buy this. I don't know why. People like it. It's entertainment. All you gotta do is put in your password, that's why. There's no credit card required. You put in your password, boom, you bought it. You never see it again. Nag screens. Nag screens are absolutely amazing for monetization. Now, I don't suggest everyone uses this, so be very careful. Nag screens are when you turn on your app and you open the app, a little pop-up comes. Who's seen that? And it says, if you want to upgrade to the pro version, go over here. You can program that with any message that you want, anything that you want. And if they click OK, you can actually take them to somewhere on the web. You can take them to the App Store. You can take them anywhere that you want. Then we have more screens, and more screens make you affiliate commissions. I'm going to get into this in a little bit, but just remember more screens. And what we do is we have a little screen inside of our apps. All it is on our menu, inside the app, there's a little button that says More. You click on More, and this comes up. And it's our other apps. So what do you think I'm doing with all my traffic that I get in one app, and I come out with a new app? I have 400 apps. I'm pointing them all to my new app. What is that app going to do? It's going to go up the charts. What is that going to do? More people are going to see it. What is that going to do? I'm going to get more downloads. It's all a chain reaction. Mobile apps is all about cross-channel marketing. If you know how to cross-channel market your apps, you're golden. And this is stuff that's come from only the last year and a half I've been doing this, and the whole company that we've developed behind this with people who've been doing this for 4 years. So I'm going to get into this a little bit more in a bit. Tracking. I got to kind of speed up a little bit. Because with tracking, you can see where your traffic is coming from, what they're doing, and how your users are actually using your app. Right? You can see some of the stats here. You can see some of the revenue I've generated from just one app. And You can see basically which buttons they click, which ones they don't like, how many downloads you're getting, how many impressions you're getting, and so much more. It's a full-blown analytics tool. There are tons of tracking tools out there. Some are built into the app builders that I talked about, and some are outside services. Luckily, most of them are free, and Flurry is by far my favorite and the industry standard. Okay, when I started looking at my stats and figuring out exactly what my apps were doing, I realized I was doing a lot of things wrong. And that meant all those apps I built had to be rebuilt. Kind of sucked. Wasn't many at that time. It was probably about 20 or 25. But it wasn't a big deal because I actually got data, and data is the most important thing. My tracking stats showed me that all my apps needed to be socially engaging, which I wasn't doing at all in any of my apps. Needed to have better graphics. You don't need to do this for your first app, so don't get hung up on it. Need to somehow promote my other apps. And I needed to build out apps that were actually making me money. So if they're making me a little bit money, how can I make them better? So I asked myself, how can I grow this? How can I expand this into something bigger? Because it's just a numbers game now, right? So I started cranking out more apps and increased my revenue from $6 to about $80 to $100 a day. And this was in the very beginning when I first started. But that still wasn't good enough for me. And that's when it came to optimization. Optimization literally was the best thing to happen to my apps. Now that you have your stats, you're getting downloads, and you're making money, what's the next step in any sales funnel? Optimization. Right? There's step one. This is my exact formula that we use in our company right now. We build quantity apps. So basically build massive amounts of apps to test the market. And these are information-based apps. We have one called Cars. We have one called College Planner. Right? Just information-based apps. Step two, once you put those apps out there and you figure out which ones are getting the most downloads, you build quality apps. And these quality apps are basically the results of what converts and gets you the most downloads from step one. And then there's step three, which is super apps. And these are like games and like entertainment and productivity apps. And we have a couple of those as well, like Panorama Free, which is takes panoramic pictures, and Picky Booth, which does pictures. And after you have this structure nailed, you build your app network. So what exactly is an app network? I explained it a little bit before. It's a strategic way of linking your apps so you can push traffic from one app to your other apps. And there's a lot of ways to do this. So here's a little diagram I created. You can see I have my free app on top. And I can push that traffic anywhere that I want at any time. You can create your app network any way you want, but the real secret is making most of your apps free. That's really the real secret. Once you start getting downloads on your free app, you can push your users to any other app you want because you already have the traffic inside of your app. And this is done, as I mentioned before, through push notifications, more screens, and nag screens. When I realized that I could be doing so much more with these apps, I incorporated a couple more things, such as push notifications, more screens, nag screens, email opt-ins, and social integration. Now, push notifications, I mentioned, you guys know what that is. More screens, I talked about that. And nag screens, we talked about. Now, more screens are nothing but affiliate links. So if you look at the middle column, all those apps over there, I actually make affiliate commission every single time someone clicks on it and downloads anything off the iTunes store for 72 hours. And then there's social integration, putting Facebook and Twitter in there. Email opt-in forms, you can use any of the companies you want, Aweber, MailChimp, Infusionsoft, Office Autopilot, and anyone in the world can literally do this. Anyone can dominate their niche inside of the App Store. We can all use apps to build leads, build relationships, bridge communication gaps, and so much more. But you have to take action. And it's really that easy. I gave you my secret formula, which includes all the steps and procedures to have an app in the marketplace between 8 and 14 days. And using this formula over the last year, we're headed for the $1 billion mark with this company. I'm just going to keep going here. We've talked about this already. However, there is one thing I have to tell you. There's one problem with this whole process I just laid out. It takes time. And that's where we get to automation and scale. So in my company, remember I was telling you about all the technology and all that stuff? We built a training platform where you can research all your niches. You can build your apps using Everyone Apps, which is our platform. Track it with our tracking system. We have a monetization network, and we have an optimizer, which optimizes your apps for you. Remember, we're just in the beginning over here. We are still there. Thank you.